Oklahomans because Cynthia Shirley will be giving to America more publicity for Oklahoma than anyone else. Miss Black America will be shown all over the world. And I am so proud. Cynthia, I want to tell you that I have never been as happy as I was last night. No, maybe my happiness started when I arrived in Philadelphia along with your beautiful mother. And when we went up into the theater, what was the name of that theater?
The Tomlinson Theater.
The what kind?
The Tomlinson New Tech Theater.
Okay, when we went up there in that theater and we got up there and I looked and I actually saw 52 young ladies working with their hair and makeup.
Yes, you did. They were all beautiful.
52 beautiful young ladies. And if you could have just gone up there, Oklahomans, and you would have seen 52 young ladies between the ages of 18 and 25 getting it together. Were you surprised when you saw us?
Yes, I was. I was very surprised. I was thrilled to death that you all came because I really did want someone out there that I knew to really pour on the congratulations and the applause. So it was very nice for me to have you all out there.
All right, so now, you came up in the top 10 in talent.
Yes, I did.
And that means that you will have the opportunity, or you had the opportunity last night to do your talent on television where it would be shown all over the world. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Miss Luper.
How did you feel when they called your name in the top 10 for talent?
I was very proud and I felt very blessed.
You were blessed because I have never seen any talent like that talent. I want to tell you, Oklahomans, that talent, and Miss Black America was the top talent I've seen. Let's kind of talk about some of the talent that we saw.
Some of the other talents that I saw, I got to meet some of the other girls' talents. I got to see their talents. They were very talented. Some were impressionists, some were dancers, some were dramatists. Just so many different talents. You couldn't believe it. They had so much talent in them.
Okay, let's talk about the impersonator.
The impressionist, she did the impressions of Bill Cosby, Billie Holiday, Nell Carter, Nancy Wilson, and it was great.
All right, now I understand that your roommate has traveled extensively. Tell me about her.
Yes, she has. My roommate was Karen Simmons. She was from Baltimore, Maryland, and she has studied opera. She's an opera singer. She's a beautiful opera singer. She has studied in Rome. She has studied in Germany, Italy. She has really trained for her voice.
Now, everybody in Oklahoma City has seen Miss Black Oklahoma. They were there at the Great Hall of the Myriad. They have seen it on television. And we aren't talking about your talent today. We're talking about the 10 other young ladies. Tell me about the young lady that won the top talent in the United States in the Miss Black America page.
That was Catherine Bach. She won the talent, overall the top 10 talent. She danced. She did a modern dance, and she was very good. She has been trained, I think, for 4 years, if I can get that right. It was 4 years, I believe. And she was very good.
Okay, what was her dance like?
She danced to XLF, and it was a modern dance. She was very limber. She showed her how limber she was. That's what I think really made her really get her scores high, because it's very hard to do the things splits on top of split on top of split. So it was good. It was very good.
All right, Shelley is just bubbling over here. Shelley, you want to tell us about some of the talent that you were impressed with?
One of the girls I met who was very nice, her name was Princess Wilson, and she dressed up like a witch, and she was very good. The makeup and her wig she had on, she looked just like a witch. She didn't look like a human being at all, and she is so sweet. It was so hard to picture her acting like that, and she frightened some of the people in the audience.
All right, now tell me more about that talent, because people all over the United States and all over the world will be talking about that talent.
One girl named Jennifer Davis did a dramatic act about I Am Somebody Too, and she said that people were starting to ignore her and everything, and she thought maybe she was ugly, and then she looked in the mirror and she said, no, I'm not ugly, and it was very good.
Okay, Cynthia?
I was also impressed with the talent that another girl did, Cynthia Keats. She danced also. She had a modern dance. She didn't make the top 10, but I was also impressed with her dancing. She has been trained in dancing for 3.5 years, and I was very impressed with her.
Now, you keep emphasizing the training that these young girls have received. Well, tell me more about that.
Most of the girls that were down there had extensively years and years of training, and I really admired that because having that training really developed their talents and really showed off how good they were.
I'm talking to Miss Black, Oklahoma, who is now one of the 10 most talented young ladies in the United States of America. But we went further than that last night. Last night, we were sitting there, and it was all a black tie outfit. The television people that were doing the filming were all in tux, and you've never seen any dresses like those people had on. I know if Samuel Cornelius had been there, he would have said things are really getting better because those people were really dressed. But on top of all of that, something else happened. They called out the top 10 in swimwear. We didn't make it in Oklahoma. They called a 10 in projection. We didn't make it in Oklahoma. But the most important thing was to call out the top 10 finalists in all categories. And at that time, I looked at Mrs. Shirley, and Mrs. Shirley looked at me. I just knew we were going to be up there in the top 10. And they started calling names. They started with the first, second, third, fourth. And when they got down to the ninth, we had one more chance. Now, I want the audience to remember 52 young ladies participated in the Miss Black Oklahoma page, and in the Miss Black America page. And I'm not talking about Miss Black Oklahoma. But then they got down to the 10th young lady. And Calvin Meal, who's a sports reporter for CBS, who's the MC for that television special, said, that's Calvin Neal. Calvin said in a very deep voice, the 10th finalist is Cynthia Shirley, Oklahoma. And we went, wow, we were so happy. How did you feel at that moment?
I was shocked, not only shocked, but I was just overwhelmed with joy to be the last one. Because when they went through the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and ninth one, I said to myself, I have one more chance, and it has to be mine. It has to be mine. And it was.
Well, I am proud of you, and I would like to congratulate you on behalf of the staff. I know Mrs. Hunter, Mrs. Fowler, Mrs. Hall, and all of the staff members, along with the people in Oklahoma, are waiting to see exactly how you did. Let's talk about Miss Black America, 1985. Tell us about it.
Amina Fakir, if I pronounced that right, she has a funny little name, but she's from Detroit, and she won the Miss Black America pageant.
How did you feel? Because you didn't win that brand new Ford. I saw you riding in that Ford down the street, and this was down Broad Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I saw you waving as they were televising you getting out of the car. How did you feel when you didn't win?
Miss Luper, I feel that this was a stepping stone for me in the right direction for my career. Not winning the Miss Black America pageant helped me to critique myself in the areas that I feel that I fell down in. And I think that this will help me. I'm thinking about going back to the pageant next year. And I feel that I will be better prepared. I will know where I'm going. I will know how the pageant is run, how to get along, and just really get out there and do it.
Well, from what I've seen with your relationship with the young ladies, you had no problems in getting along. Tell me about the friendship that was developed this year during the 10 days that you were in Philadelphia.
The friendship was wonderful. All the girls were friendly. We all got along together. We stayed on the 10th and the 11th floor of Temple University. We just had a great time with each other. We learned to boost each other. We learned to critique each other, to tell if we did something wrong, how to do it right. And we didn't pull each other down. We pulled them up.
Well, I noticed when you did your talent last night, everybody was so happy, and the people were just applauding, and I know you must have felt good. What did those young ladies say to you after you finished your talent?
After I finished my talent, it was wonderful. What they said to me is that I was in my character so much that they believed that I was that disadvantaged Constantine that comes to church that didn't have anything, and finally believed that God looks within the heart and the spirit of man and not the clothes that one wears. And they were very, excited about, they couldn't believe that I could really get into that type of character.
Now we are talking about life. We are talking about competition. Because we know Black America is changing. We know that young blacks are traveling all over the world, and that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right. It does make a difference.
So we would urge parents to start when their children are when?
Oh, when they're babies. When they start growing up, walking. When they start walking, train them. Get them trained. This is very important when they get out in life. They may want to go on to higher heights, bigger goals in life, and they're going to need that training.
In other words, you competed with 52, which means that you will be competing with these kind of young ladies all of your life. And you know now that you've got to get up and do what?
You've got to get up and do what you've got to do.
Okay. Now, I would like to say to your parents that have children, the first thing to start training your child, don't spoil your children. Don't let them suck their fingers. And if you want to do a favor for your family, don't let them suck those, what do you call them? What do you call it when the kids start crying? You fool the babies and they be just sucking on something and it's not getting anything but air. Pacifier. Throw the pacifiers away. Start your own children to talking and taking responsibility. Because otherwise, you're talking about competition. We have competition.
We do have competition. Not only in the competitions that I have been in, but we have competition in life.
Now, these girls are very serious about their future. They know where they are going, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's right. They know where they're going. They know what they want to do.
And they know in order to get there, they are going to do what?
They're going to have to strive to do better.
So therefore, if they are working on issues, they are reading newspapers, magazines, listening to more than music, and music is great to listen to.
Yes.
But they are also developing themselves to their fullest potential.
Yes, that's right. It's especially in education and experience.
So education and experience are very important.
They go hand in hand with each other.
Now, from talking to the young ladies from the pageant, I understand that you have received more prizes and awards than any girl that participated in the Miss Black America pageant. Was that your experience in talking to the young ladies about the prizes and awards they received?
Yes, that's correct. I received more prizes than anyone in the other state pageants or people, the girls that came at large. The girls that came at large came on their own to the pageant, paid their pageant fees to get into the pageant. But my prizes, I really was overwhelmed to see all the prizes that I received and to compare our prizes.
Now, it is true that all of your expenses were paid to Philadelphia?
Yes, that's correct.
It was true that you flew into Pennsylvania?
Yes, that's right.
And today I would like to make a presentation. We've talked about the $1,000 that you will get from Phillips Petroleum Company. But today I would like to make a presentation to you from a young Oklahoma Cityan that has climbed the ladder of success. Raised in Oklahoma City, graduated with the class of 1959, and that's a class that's celebrating, I think I'm correct, that's Richard Brown's class, and there's the class of 1960 that will soon be having a big homecoming, a class reunion. When is that to be? I wonder if anybody knows. It was yesterday and today. One of the class members, a young man by the name of Felton Dean, who now owns a franchise with the Pontiac GMC Incorporated in Lawton, Oklahoma. Now, on behalf of Felton Dean, I would like to present to you $500 cash today.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Luper. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Dean.
Oh, it's just so wonderful. It just gives me a thrill to present this money to these beautiful young ladies all over. And just think, I have word from Virginia Glover, who's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and who is now an executive with the Black Music Association. And Virginia is making preparation to go to Africa, where they will be presenting some concerts. Congratulations to all of the 16 young ladies that have represented Oklahoma well. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and today is a very special show because today's show is dedicated to the ushers. Now, those of you in Oklahoma City, now let's grow up. I want to get some letters congratulating Cynthia Shirley. Now, if she had gone out and committed some kind of crime, everybody in town would have been talking about her. Now she has represented you well with dignity, with talent, with the projection of ability, and I want you to respond. Now, I would hate for a member of my church to be saluted by the people in the United States, and for people to stand up for me in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that did not even know me, and from my own church, I wouldn't get a message. Now, I don't know what church for sure that you belong to, but I think your church should respond. Oh, yes, I do. I just remembered I called Reverend Cooksey and told him, and I expect to hear from Reverend Cooksey and the people at the Friendship Baptist Church. I want this young lady congratulated. Not only that, I call upon the sororities and fraternities and Masonic groups in this town to congratulate Cynthia Shirley, who has represented us well. This is a Clara Luper Radio Show, and if you don't like what I say, you come out here and say it better. This portion of our program is brought to you by the M&W Welding Company, located at 2601 Northeast 23rd Street in Oklahoma City. Call Mr. Merlin McCary if you really want it done. Protect yourself from burglars. Get you some burglar alarms. Call 424-1482 and some burglar bars. Whatever you want in the line of welding, call the M&W Welding Company. We are going to be discussing the bingo laws in Oklahoma because according to my understanding of the new bingo laws, you are only to play bingo 2 nights per week. Now, we know we have some companies that are playing more than 2 and they are breaking the law, but the House of Bingo is going by the law and they are only playing bingo now on Fridays and Saturday nights, and we call upon you for full support. It's time now for you to go to your favorite tailor, Sir Charles the Tailor, located at 6225 Southeast 15th Street. The telephone number is 733-7600. That's Sir Charles the Tailor here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. No, I said Oklahoma City. I'm sorry. Sir Charles the Tailor is in Midwest City. That's 6225 Southeast of 15th Street. Once again, the telephone number is 733-7600. Chancellor Sherardina's Daycare Center is located at 2611 Northeastern here in Oklahoma City and 1643 Northeast 50th Street. They send to Cynthia and her family congratulations. The Lily White Rose Court of Calanthus, number 34, the worthy counselor is Mrs. Emma McCarver, and the Talbot Arts Club of the Federated Women, Mrs. Corrine Prince is the president. We'll present Brother President the second Sunday in August, and you are certainly invited. Tickets will go on sale on this Tuesday. That's for Brother President, the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, another job that's been done by our young people. Those of you that would like to participate in Miss Black Oklahoma 1986, we need you to sign up. You may contact Clara Luper, Post Office Box 11106. We've already started. Miss Black Oklahoma will be held on June 21st, 1986. Those of you that are interested in inviting the young ladies when they come into our city, please contact me at once because I've got to have my report in to Mr. J. Morris Anderson, who is my boss. Now, I don't want you to forget that. Here's Onita with the funeral and death announcements today.
Raw Funeral Home announces the following services. Services for Mrs. Winnie Tyson of 2033 Northeast 20th is pending with the Raw Funeral Home. Temple Funeral Home announces the services of Mrs. LaVar King of 3305 Northeast 13th. Will be Monday at 11 a.m. in the chapel of the Temple Funeral Home. We would like to say to the families tonight, be not dismayed, whatever betide. God will take care of you. Back to Clara.
Thank you, Onita, and certainly we would like to thank the sponsors that made it possible for us to present Miss Black Oklahoma. We would like to thank the Coca-Cola Company, We would like to thank Mr. Henderson of Broadway Ford in Edmond, Oklahoma. We would like to thank the Campbell Grocery Store here in Oklahoma City, the Campbell Brothers Grocery Store with George Campbell. We would like to thank the Thompson Shardina's Daycare Center. We would like to thank Studio 75. And incidentally, Studio 75 is what's happening. Call Calvin, 235-4875. Tell Calvin you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show. We would like also, we want you to join in thanking our sponsors. We were sponsored by Soul Bazaar 86, which would be May 2nd and 3rd, 1986. Mr. Talent USA, it's time to sign up for Mr. Talent USA, which would be on August the 29th. Now, just for a few minutes of serious talk. We've just come back from Pennsylvania. We have walked down the filthy streets of Philadelphia. We've seen black people laying on the streets of Philadelphia, drunk with yesterday's wine. We have seen what can happen to a people. Sherman was with us yesterday and he bought a hamburger. Didn't eat all of it and threw it in the waste basket, in a trash basket that was on the sidewalk. And as he looked around, a man rushed to the trash basket, unwrapped the hamburger, and began to eat it. We went through acres and acres of buildings, and we saw confetti riding all over the buildings. Then we went to the place where the move, some 11 died when a building was bombed. I stood there. Shelley. I stood there along with Mrs. Shelley, Alicia Hildred, Sherman, and others. And there we stood at a building in which a group of people had been killed. Or we could not understand the political and social factors that were involved. We could not understand how so many of our black people have left the God of our fathers and are following other gods. We could not understand it. We had the opportunity to stand in the Lorraine, Father Divine's Lorraine Hotel, where men have to sleep on one floor and women have to sleep on another one. Well, men and women cannot be seen sitting down, holding hands or exchanging any kind of touching experience. We saw our people that have left the God of our fathers and have gone in other directions. But we are home now, home to people that we love so well. And we come home asking our people, let's clean up our streets. If there are old papers and cans in front of our own houses, let's clean those up. And we are going to take a survey of the streets in Oklahoma City, and next week we are going to acknowledge the cleanest area on the northeast side of Oklahoma City. Nobody has to tell us when our yards are filled with pop bottles and old cans. We can do it ourselves, and I call upon those of you that love your city to do it. And Shelley, what do you call all that funny writing? Graffiti. Graffiti? Okay. Graffiti. Whatever it is, it's old-fashioned, ugly writing on buildings. Let's get it off our buildings. And we're going to contact you that own buildings and ask you to clean it up. I believe in the young people in Oklahoma. I believe in the young people on the east side of Oklahoma City. And I ask all of you young people to join us in cleaning up our streets. We will start with our own homes, and we will move further. I know you would like to know what areas are the dirtiest. We are black people. We are strong people. We are clean people. We know how to clean, and we can do it. I'm calling upon you. We're getting ready now for the Freedom Fiesta, which will be in Oklahoma City. And once again, I appreciate those of you that are calling me, wanting to participate in the fashion show, the talent show, the parade. And I know you want to be in the Clara Luper parade because Clara Luper symbolizes you. Because everything that Clara Luper has achieved has been because of you. And I'm no fool. I know where my bread and butter continue to come from. As I look at the clock on the wall, I would like to say something about the Oklahoma City school system. Let's look at the school system. 252 girls, beautiful young ladies, were in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the Miss Black America pageant. Out of the 52, there were 10 that were selected based upon their ability, not on friendship, but on ability, talent. Now, that's certainly a plus for the Oklahoma City school system. And I'm perfectly disgusted with a school system that has not said to one of its graduates, congratulations. Now, I don't know about the new superintendent of schools of Oklahoma. I've heard some things about him. I've been in conference with people from the section of the country that he came from. But of all of the people down to the Board of Education, we have not received one letter, one word, or anything about a graduate of Northwest Classen High School. And I know the principal of that school, Dr. Smith, and I'll say that again, Dr. Smith. Oh, it's not Smith, it's Smythe. Could have at least said to the Miss Black Oklahoma Committee, congratulations. Now, we've got to stop playing, and I'm not going to play with people. What you're supposed to do, you're supposed to do it. If you are in a position in a school system, you're a superintendent or you have some kind of position, you're supposed to recognize your own. Cynthia Shirley has proven that the Oklahoma City school system is taking care of business. Congratulations are in order for the AKAs that went to Chicago for a big leadership conference, and one of our own, Mrs. Simpson from Langston University, was one of the leaders of this conference that was held when the AKAs dedicated that new building in Chicago this week, and it was beautiful. A large number of AKAs from Oklahoma City attended, and one of the best speakers there was Mr. Chevis King of Oklahoma City. And they tell me Mr. King really did it up. We would also like to congratulate Dr. Carol Hartman for the fact that she is a member of the National Board of the National Alliance of Black School Educators, and they had a 4-day conference in Chicago this past week. Congratulations to Helen Johnson, Mrs. Pringer, and others that attended that important meeting. As I look at the clock on the wall, I want all of you to remember what I say. Let's pick up the bottles and the cans and things around our house first, because we can't talk about how black and proud we are. Nobody's proud of anything that's dirty. So let's clean up first. A lot of people got these old broken down cars and bicycles out front. Let's get rid of them. Let's say to everybody, we are somebody because we are clean. And when I say clean, we are clean because I've smelled the filth in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on 33rd Street. I've smelled it. And certainly we don't want our city to become that city. And I say to the white people, come on the east side of Oklahoma City. Let's spend some money and some time here. The NACP Youth Council will meet tomorrow at exactly 6:30 p.m. and we have some complaints. And I'm going to tell you about some complaints next week that's going to make you bite your tongue. This is Clara Luper saying, wherever you are, baby, and whatever you do, remember to clean up your own stuff first. We cannot continue to survive in a dirty city. Cut your weeds and clean your house, baby. Clean that porch and say, I am somebody, because nobody want to smell your mess. Clara Luper reporting, KAEZ, and I do love you.
KAEZ in Oklahoma City. You've been listening to the Clara Luper Radio Show. We're going to start off now with 3 hours of continuous gospel music right here in Oklahoma City, the best gospel music in Oklahoma.
Friends, and tell your friends to join KAEZ at this moment in order that you can visit with Clara Luper for the next 59 minutes. Today's program is dedicated to the ushers. Wherever you are, if you're an usher, this is your program. Now, today was the 41st annual Ushers Day. At the 5th Street to Missionary Baptist Church, located at 800 Northeast 5th Street in Oklahoma City. It was 3 o'clock. The theme, commissioned and ready to serve. Anna Balcom, the president, had announced previously that this 41st annual Usher's Day would be a day to remember. And it was just that. Mrs. Gloria Griffin was a mistress of ceremony. There was scripture by Shannon Nero, a prayer by Alfonso Bullock. Then the old familiar song, What a Fellowship, by the congregation. The Angela Bullocks delivered the welcome, and the response came from the citywide ushers. There was a selection by the sanctuary choir. And then Miss May Helen Palmer stood in memory of an usher, Walter Ross. There was a lighting of a candle in memory of Walter Ross, an usher that went home to be with his God a few weeks ago. The candle burned during the entire service today in memory of Walter Ross. Reverend James O. Bradford introduced the speaker of the hour after music by the Avery Chapel AME Choir. Beautiful renditions. Reverend N.C. Irving stood tall today. It was the quietness of the church. It was the tone of his voice and the look in his eyes as he related how two churches had come together and a great work could be done. He talked about togetherness and how one can achieve by being together. He talked about a book that he had read, known as A Sleeping Giant, which talked about the potentials of the church, the potentials of the spiritual powers of a church, the potential of a church's resources or its cause. And then from the scripture, he read a passage of the scripture that we have often read, the story of Zacchaeus, a man who climbed a tree in order to see Jesus. But that was not the approach that Reverend Irvin used today. He talked about a man, Zacchaeus, who was isolated because of his stature, a short man, because of his occupation, and because of how he felt about himself. He related it to those of us that live here in the closing hours of the 20th century. He talked about feeling isolated, and then he asked a question. Have you ever felt isolated because of your color, because of your economic conditions, because of how the boss made you feel? Does your boss ever talk to you? Have you ever had the opportunity to be invited to dinner by your boss? Or have you had any input on the policies that influence your life? Yes, he said that Zacchaeus was isolated in his day. And maybe we can certainly associate with it. I'm not invited to this. Life is just one problem after another. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. I don't have any say. I might not, there's no use of me voting because I can't change anything. I can't do anything about the foreign policy in the United States. I can't do anything about the economic problems. And then Reverend Irvin came home with his point. He came home by relating how Jesus dealt with Zacchaeus, a man that felt isolated. And Reverend Irvin, in a strong, calm voice, stated that Jesus said, "Come down, Zacchaeus. I'm going home with you." Reverend Irvin said, how would you feel if your boss would say to you, "I'm going home with you. I'm going to depend upon you. I'm going home with you"? What happened to Zacchaeus? His self-esteem rose. Jesus had seen him as a man that was worthy. What an impact this statement, I'm going home with you, had on Zacchaeus, his feelings. How do you think Zacchaeus felt? I'm going home with you. Reverend Irvin stated this evening that it's easy to pray for people. It's easy to talk about what you will do. But then he says, how does it feel when you are willing to go home with someone? He described the relationship between parents and children, what the children are saying. Then he stated, then he called attention to the crowd that was critical of Zacchaeus. Happiness, Reverend Irving said, is caring for somebody, loving somebody, doing something for somebody else. And because of this commitment, Zacchaeus went a step further. He did what so many of us hate to do. Admit that we have made mistakes. Admit that we have made mistakes. And Zacchaeus said that if I have mistreated anyone, I want to repay them in so many folds. And then Jesus said, salvation today has come to this house. What a sermon. What an usher's day. Reverend Irvin reminded us today that we are somebody. We are somebody. And what is important, and I want you to remember this, and those of you that was fortunate enough to hear Reverend Irvin today, I know you will remember this. But the thing that was important, Reverend Irvin said that strength lies within ourselves, and it's measured by our relationship with Jesus. Age is not a factor. Can't be too old. He reminded us of Colonel Sanders' Kentucky Fried Chicken and the age in which he developed that business. He reminded us of Moses 40 years before he started his career. And in other words, Reverend Irvin talked to the ushers today. And I would like to quote directly. If we can capitalize upon our potential, we can become a great nation within a nation. We can overcome ourselves. We can inspire not only young people, but old people. We can understand our culture. Yes, because of the ushers today, we were able to hear the story of Zacchaeus. And if I would talk to the ushers today, and if I would say to the ushers, wherever you are you tired? Are you tired, ushers, of ushering people in? These are people that serve without any pay, without any special days in which they are given bonuses. The ushers usher us in every Sunday. They usher us at funerals, at weddings, at anniversaries. But do they ever get paid? No, not ushers. When we shout, the ushers protect us from ourselves. But how many times that after they have held us in order that we would not hurt our heads and break our glasses, that we have written a note to an usher and say, dear usher, I thank you. Oh, I would like to talk to the ushers today. And I would like to say to the ushers, wherever you are, whether you are a member of the Fifth Street Baptist Church, or whether you could stand like a young man today, Mr. Carter, and tell the world how you feel, your commission, and you are ready to serve, even if it's taking an offering. I know what you would say. Let me talk to all of the ushers. Why would I talk? No, I'm not going to talk to the ushers, but I would like to dedicate this song to the ushers because to Clara Luper, this symbolizes you wherever you are, whether it's a revival, whether it's an anniversary, whatever it is, whatever you're called upon to do. I know you are no ways tired. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and this portion of our show is brought to you by the M&J's Furniture, located at 914 Northeast 4th Street here in Oklahoma City. The owners are Mark and Joyce Douglas. Are you looking for specific furnishing to complement that special room? Or perhaps you're looking for an unusual and unique accessory to enhance your decor? Then stop by M&J's Furniture at 910 Northeast 4th Street, your neighborhood furniture store. For the finest in-home furnishings and accessories at prices you can afford. The store hours, Tuesday through Fridays, 10 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m., Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. Closed only on Sundays and Mondays. Now, there's something special that I want you to remember. That M&J's Furniture, located at 910 Northeast 4th Street, or telephone 2320115. Tell them you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show and receive an additional 10% discount on already low prices. If you want some unique accessories, I want you to go to M&J's Furniture Company, your neighborhood furniture store. Located once again at 910 Northeast 4th Street. Now, many of you will be buying wedding gifts. Don't buy a wedding gift until you go to M&W Furnishing Company, M&J's Furniture Company, located at 914 Northeast 4th Street. Now, remember the hours. Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And they are closed on Sundays and Mondays. Now, I want you to go to M&J's Furniture Store, and when you get ready to buy something, a wedding present that's unique, something that you have always wanted for your home, I went to M&J's Furniture Store, and I did not know we had that kind of furniture on the northeast side of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And speaking of Oklahoma City, it's known for many things. It's known for women that are working in business. I had the opportunity to talk to Mrs. Betty R. Lynch, the administrator of the Watkins Skyview Convalescent Nursing Home. A clean, modern home for the sick and the aged. A home with 24 hours nursing service. Located at 2200 Coltrane Road in Oklahoma City. Not only that, but when you go into a place that's clean and where the patients are as happy as at Watkins Stevens Nursing Home, you want to know some more about it. You want to know who are the people that operate it. Okay. The Watkins Skyview Convalescent Nursing Home is operated by Betty R. Lynch, the administrator. Your registered nurse is Estelle Bugg, who is the director of nurses. Phyllis Chambers, the secretary. Anita Johnson, the social and activities director. Hattie Young is your LPN, that's in charge of nurses. Sonora Major is your food service supervisor. Out to the Watkins Stevens Convalescent Nursing Home, they have a hot food cart for keeping food at the temperature that you want. Now, those of you that know you are not able to take care of the sick and the aged in your family, for the best service, 24 hours, go to Watkins Skyline Convalescent Nursing Home. I have someone to call. Get these numbers down. 427-1322 or 427-9384. And once again, the Watkins Skyline Convalescent Nursing Home is located at 2200 North Coltrane Road in Oklahoma City, and Mrs. Betty R. Lynch is the manager. This has certainly been an exciting week, and here's Shelley, all excited. Shelley, is it actually true this morning that you started out in Philadelphia and slept through your breakfast and then had breakfast in Chicago and lunch in Oklahoma City? Is that true?
Yes, it is.
All right, now tell me first about your trip to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
We left for Philadelphia Friday morning, and when we arrived, we went and stayed in the Philadelphia Center Hotel. While we were there, we had the opportunity to see some of the rehearsals for the Miss Black America pageant, and we also got to meet many celebrities, including Tracy Ross, Debbie Morgan, Darnell Williams, Bubba Smith, and Stephanie Mills.
Oh, that's exciting. Now, you were in Philadelphia. This is your second consecutive year that you've gone to the pageant. But while you were there, you did some sightseeing. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Oh, well, share that with our audience.
I went to Independence Hall and I saw the Liberty Bell.
Oh, you saw the Liberty Bell. Is it located in Independence Hall?
No, it is across the street.
Tell me about the Liberty Bell.
It is in a small building where they have tours and they show you the Liberty Bell and they tell you a little bit about it and they let you touch it and take pictures.
Oh, well, tell me just a little about the Liberty Bell.
In 1846, it rang for the last time, celebrating George Washington's birthday, when it became a national holiday, and it cracked then, so they had to stop ringing.
Oh, it cracked. When was it first used? What was it first used for?
To call people for meetings because some of the people wouldn't come or they would be late, so they had to find a method for them to come.
All right, now, could you connect the abolitionists with the Liberty Bell?
They felt that the Liberty Bell cracked because the Liberty Bell said proclaim liberty throughout the land, and they still had slaves then, and they didn't see how you could have liberty with slaves, so they believed the Liberty Bell cracked because of that reason.
What does the Liberty Bell mean to people today? They tell me you have over 10,000 people a day that come by that bell.
It means different things to everybody: economic liberty, political liberty, social liberty, and many other things.
All right, now, did you go into Independence Hall and did you have to stand in line like you usually do?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
I saw the Supreme Court that was first used, where the Second Congress met, and I saw the room where they held banquets and dinners and dances.
Okay, did you see the room in which the United States Constitution was written?
Yes.
All right, now tell me, you saw Philadelphia. You saw the beautiful hotel that you lived in. You went to what university where the contestants stayed?
Temple University.
All right, now did you see anything else in Philadelphia that stick with you today?
The moves.
The moves. Who were the moves?
People that believe in going back to nature.
Okay, when you say going back to nature, what are you talking about?
They'll eat some food and then throw it on the ground, let it grow back again. They don't take baths or brush their teeth or anything. They only drink spring water. They have earrings in their nose. They have 10 cats and dogs in their house, and they don't clean up after them or anything.
And those are the moves. Would you like to be a move?
No.
All right. Now, were you impressed with the areas in Philadelphia where poor people live?
I thought something could be done to make it better. It seemed kind of bad.
When you say kind of bad, what do you mean?
It was terrible.
Okay, now it was terrible. Now, when you say the streets were terrible, what are you talking about, Shelley?
It was dirty.
It was dirty. Were you glad to get back to Oklahoma City this morning?
Yes, Oklahoma City is clean and nice. Their town is crowded and dirty and everything.
Okay, how do you feel that we should continue to keep Oklahoma City?
I think that people who can should go to Philadelphia, and then when they come back, they'll have new love for their city, and they'll try to keep it clean as much as they can. Pick up trash and don't litter or anything.
I know we were in one of the largest black cafeterias in Philadelphia, which is known as Ida's Place. Do you remember any incidents in that restaurant?
Yes, people were selling you wallets that they stole and everything, like on Good Times and everything. When they would show you people that were selling the wallets that they stole, they would come right up to you and ask you if you wanted to buy a wallet. They were new. They were cute, but we didn't buy any.
All right. Now, did you have any other experience with any shoplifters when you went in a drugstore to buy some film?
This man asked Sherman and I if we wanted to buy a diamond ring that he stole. He told us he stole it.
And then asked you to buy it. What did you all do?
We ignored him.
All right. Now, we've talked about two sides of Philadelphia. Let's get down to the big event. It was true that you went to Philadelphia to attend the videotaping of Miss Black America. What did you think of Miss Black America 1985?
It was a good pageant. It was long, but it had a lot of talent, and it was really fun, and I got to see a lot of people. everything, got autographs and everything.
All right, now you thought how many girls participated in the pageant?
52.
There were 52 young ladies. Did you think those young ladies were beautiful?
Yes, and they were also talented and nice and friendly. They were spectacular.
They were what now?
Spectacular.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. They were spectacular. They tell me that last night at the Miss Black America pageant that you had the opportunity to see the videotaping of a television special. Is that true?
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, it was quite long and it was very hot, but I enjoyed it.
Why was it so long?
Because every time they made a mistake, they had to do the whole thing over, the whole part of it that they were doing. Like if they messed up on the opening number, they would have to do the opening number until they got it right under the bright hot lights.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking to Miss Shelley, who had the opportunity to be in Philadelphia this weekend. And this part of our program, Shelley, has been brought to us by
Merlin Hildred. Merlin sells home insurance, life insurance, and car insurance. If you like some insurance, contact Merlin at 424-6863 or 751-8435. Thank you.
Okay, well, certainly Marilyn had the opportunity this week to also go out representing her company. She was invited to the headquarters of the Allstate Insurance Corporation, which is located in Chicago, Illinois. And there were only 3 agents from the state of Oklahoma that attended this meeting, and Marilyn tells me that nationally there were only 9 people at the meeting, and she was the only female and the only black. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and it's 7 o'clock here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Certainly, I would like to thank all of you that had the opportunity to see the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant on Channel 19 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. I would like to thank you for your many calls congratulating on that, and many of you say that was the greatest pageant that we have ever had. But I say just wait till next year. Next year, June 21st, Clara Luper and staff will proudly present Miss Black Oklahoma 1986. But it's now 1985, and we did it. Yes, we did it. We sent to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love. That's what Benjamin Franklin would call it, but Shelley would call it a dirty city. Anyway, we sent to the city of brotherly love the most talented young lady that we could find in our state, and she represented our state well. In looking through her mail, I found that she got a congratulatory message from whom?
I got a I was congratulated by the mayor.
The mayor of Oklahoma City, Mayor Coates. Great.
Andy Coates. It was very wonderful. He sent me a telegram the other night before the pageant, and I received a telegram from the commission's office.
From the Corporation Commissioner's office.
Right.